So I don't know if you guys have seen recently on Brandon Sanderson's social media, but he finished the last Skyward book in only like a few hours. Granted, it was the last 10,000 words, maybe a little bit more, and he did it over the span of about like 12-ish hours, but still, that's like literally like insane. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, it's really crazy. He's actually put it up a few times. I think he put it up for Rhythm of War when he was finishing that. He constantly does these posts when he goes on his like latest binges of writing. He doesn't always do this, only when he like is finishing up a series or finishing up the end of a book, and he just sort of goes on this like binge of writing 10,000 words in one day. It's absolutely insane. I'm not going to be able to give you advice on that, but what I can give you advice on is my goals in writing for the year that I take from Brandon Sanderson's lectures and studying how he does his storytelling and his craft. So, as some of you know, I just finished a book last year. It was called Seeker of Shadow. I really adored the book, and it took a really long time to finish. Last year, I made a resolution that I'd finish a book, and I did. This year, I'm setting a goal to finish 2 books this year, so finish a book every 6 months. It's sort of a lofty kind of goal, but it's something that I really want to stick to, and Brandon says that you should be writing at least a book a year to be able to go professional, and I want to go professional before I get into my 30s, so I need to sort of pick it up here and get going writing. So I'm going to step you guys through exactly how I'm going to go and write about this process, and maybe give you guys some advice and hopefully help you if you're going through your writing process as well. I'm mainly taking from Brandon Sanderson's lectures. I've watched them at least like over 10 times all the way through. I want to be able to like, just whenever I run into a problem, recall what he talks about, and then just be able to do things on instinct and just like study the craft enough, read and write enough to be able to do these really good storytelling things on instinct. So I'm going to start off. It is a 6-month process of writing, and it's sort of broken into 3 different phases. So phase 1 is going to be outline and planning, phase 2 is going to be actually writing, and then phase 3 is going to be the revision process and how I go about that. I'm just going to be very brief about this, and then every week I'm going to be breaking down what I do every week to be able to accomplish this goal. I've written it all down. It's probably going to change, and I'm just going to talk about that week by week when I do so. So week 1, I'm going to be focusing mainly on plot. With my plot, I'm going to be breaking down different archetypes and different stories. Brandon talks about this in his lectures, and actually when I did screenplays in college when I was studying film, this is exactly what I did. I would go and I would watch films, and I would see the certain archetypes that are in there that would fit the exact story that I am trying to tell. So let's say I'm trying to do with this book, it's a gladiator story with a mentorship story, and then a mystery with the environment. That's sort of the book that I'm trying to write. So I'm going to be breaking down movies and films that pertain to each of those, and I'm going to be writing down the beats of those stories. So the way that you do that is you watch the movie all the way through, you get what the story is trying to do, its promises, progress, and payoff, and then you watch the movie again and you break down every scene beat by beat, or every scene, beat by beat of what they're trying to do, what it's trying to accomplish. And eventually I learned, I used to write down the entire, everything that happened in the scene. Now I just learned that I only write down the things that pertain to the certain archetype that I'm trying to do. I don't write off like the B plot that they have in there, because I'm going to be doing a different B plot in my book. So the way that I like to do that, I just do like a numbering system. So I just go like scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I sort of label at certain points like, okay, here's act 1, here's the inciting incident, here's the break to act 2, here's act 2, and you sort of like pick up on those things the more and more you study it. I went to college to study those things, and I'm sort of using those skills as a screenplay person to, and then incorporate to books and fit more of a book format. Something that, a little bit of a tangent, that the reason why my book fell apart in my first book is because I didn't have strong enough motives, and I didn't have a strong enough story to bring me all the way through a full book, a full like epic fantasy book. So I'm hoping to alleviate that by using this sort of strategy and taking a whole bunch of different archetypes, and I'm not like taking them verbatim, I'm just taking the framework and I'm seeing how people use those archetypes and get the kind of stories that they want to tell. I'm not like I'm not like taking the story like beat by beat exactly what it does. I'm seeing what those beats do, and then I'm going to try to do my own things and nuances and just like mash everything together basically. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'd love to answer them for you. So after week 1 is week 2 is going to be more focused on setting, environment, physical and cultural setting. With my cultural stuff, I'm just going to be like pulling from other cultures as influence, but I really want to get this right because I love the way that Robert Jordan writes his cultures and the way Sanderson writes his cultures, and I want to be able to do something that's very distinct and different, but is not a one-for-one, right? So I'm going to be focusing on that, focusing on the physical. I have a breakdown of week 2 that goes more in depth, but I'll go into that when I get to that week. Then my last week is going to be more focused on character. Here is where another reason why my first book like failed is because I didn't have good enough motives and goals and flaws. So here I am going to be really focusing on their personality, their goals, their flaws. The biggest thing that Sanderson talks about to get right is to have a very distinct voice and make everyone sound a little bit different. That sort of voice like shine through, and that's what's going to be able to get you through the book. So I'm going to be focusing mainly on that with my characters, and I'll also, again, I have a very long in-depth thing that I'll go into on week 3 when I get there, but I'm just being very brief right now to get you through. So then week 4 is going to be when I just like take all these elements, these archetypes, these characters, this setting and the mystery in the setting, and just like mash it all together basically. Also, when I talk about setting, I also mean my magic as well. So my magic system, I really love how Sanderson uses this mystery around magic systems, and I want to do something along those lines, but in my own way as well, because my stories are very character and relationship focused rather than magic focused, but I still like the background of the magic doing what it does, but my main focus is always on relationships and characters, and an interesting plot that drives them through. So I'm going to be taking all of those elements and just like smash them all together, and how I do that basically is I'm going to have a lot of it written down. Some of it's going to be printed out, some's going to be on my computer, and I'm going to have these flashcards, and I'm going to take all these story beats and elements and archetypes and all this stuff that's just scattered everywhere and put it down and mash them together and write scenes that have all of these elements combined together. It's like really hectic and really like all over the place, it seems, and it's kind of stressful thinking about it, but I give myself a whole week to be able to organize everything to make a cohesive story that is like satisfying. I hope that makes sense. Again, just ask your questions in the comments below if you have any questions. I would love to help you out and answer them. I know this is sort of like fire hose, I'm coming at you like really fast, but it's sort of a lot to go over, but this is sort of like the biggest detail part. So after I get that done and I write down every single scene on a flashcard, I will use my flashcards as a reference while I'm writing. I have binders that I've set up, one dedicated to character setting and plot, and I will be able to flip through those whenever I am wondering something about a character, or I need something just like set aside to see like, okay, I'm writing in this character's perspective right now, let me keep these things in mind. Okay, we're in this setting, let me reveal a little bit of the setting here with, you know, all the nuances and stuff. So but those flashcards are sort of going to be like my guide to be able to get me through the story, and I'm gonna have around 150 cards, maybe more like 140 cards. I want this to be a 120 word book, and each scene for me is around 1,000 words. Some are less, some are like around 2,000, so it all just depends. I'm gonna try to get 140 scenes. I might come short of that, maybe more like 120 if I'm lucky. I just gotta be able to make sure I hit that 120,000 word mark, because that is like the lowest part of science fiction, fantasy, when you go to publishers and stuff like that for adult epic science fiction and fantasy. So that's what I'm shooting for. That's why I want those beats and those goals. Then on to the second phase. This one's really boring. It's just me writing it. Then for month 2, 3, and 4 is just going to be me writing the book. I'm going to be shooting for around 2,000 words every day, only 5 days out of the week. And then I am going to be setting the weekend to be able to revise my work. I'm the kind of person that loves revision. It's kind of hard for me to be able to sit down and write. I more love just already having something written down and then revising it. So to be able to have this goal in mind throughout the week is, okay, yes, I just need to get all of this down on the page, even if it's really crappy. I have the weekend to be able to revise. But also it's good because I set a limit for myself. I can only revise on the weekend. I can't revise during the week. So I'm going to see if that method really works out. I think that it will. I'm very hopeful for it. But yeah, that's basically going to be my process for 3 months. And then on month 5, the book should be finished. Hopefully it's already done, and I will be spending the first week, I'll be making notes throughout the book if there are major changes or minor changes. So the first week I'm going to be focusing on major changes, and then the second week I'm going to be focusing on the minor changes, and then the third week I will be going through my book one more time, making sure spelling errors are all out of there, making sure the prose are coming across well, that the pacing is done well. And then that last week of the 5th month, I will be sending it out to beta readers, and it will finally be done. Yeah, that's sort of like the whole overview of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be uploading once a week, talking about how the process is going, what I'm learning, hopefully to help you guys with your writing process as well. I would love if you embarked on this journey with me. I'm really excited about it. Basically, month 6 is going to be the month where I get my beta readers feedback and see what I want to implement. I have a questionnaire that I'm going to have at per part of the book where it talks about, is pacing too slow, too fast? Do you have questions? Is this making sense to you? All that sort of stuff at the end of each part, and then an overview of the book after that questionnaire. So I don't have a book to give them now, so probably month 6 this year will be used to start my next book, and then I'll use that month 6 to be able to go over this book. So it is a year process to be able to get a full book fully finished to send to a publisher. But within those 6 months, when I'm not working on that first book, I'm going to be working on that second book. And I'm really excited about this whole process. I can't wait to get it out there, and 2023 is going to be my year to get it to publishers and start doing query letters. So I'm really doing this push to start getting it out there and consistently writing so that I can make a career as a writer. So I'm excited about this journey. I'm excited about embarking on it with you guys. If you have any questions or want to know anything about writing, just ask me, comment below. I would love to talk to you guys about this. I know this was super fire hose. The next weeks I'll probably slow it down a little bit, but it was just a lot of information to get across within one video. And I can't wait to hear about any works that you guys are doing, or if you just find this pretty interesting. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.